Hi, this is Judy Bonilla with Encore Chat, and today I have Josh Loe of Ninja Hosting, also Web Hosting Ninja. And the reason why I connected with Josh is because I had a problem with my hosting service, and in frustration, I took to Twitter because what do we know? When you want something resolved, you hit Twitter. In this interview, I'm going to have Josh share some of the, I'll say, techniques of loving your platform that is essential for you to share your voice, some ideas on what to avoid, and just getting a better understanding what it truly means to have a platform. You may be using Google, you might be using Twitter. Obviously, you're using Blab and YouTube. But there's something more. You need to own your name, and you can do that through having a hosted site and having that be your primary platform. So I'm going to turn this over to Josh, and then I'm going to have him share a little bit about his background, how he got into that, and we're going to launch away. I'll try and catch some questions, and if not, we'll cover that at the end of our time. Thanks for joining us at Encore Chat. Over to you.
Okay, Judy. So yeah, it's great to be here on Encore Chat. Like you said, one of the ways that we actually connected was on Twitter, and there's so many business opportunities on Twitter right now. Just finding people that are upset. They're like, I really don't like the way things are going. But there's also a lot more stuff you can do with that. Okay, so you can see where other companies are failing and kind of capitalize on that. For example, web hosting right now, which is my niche. There's a very, very big disconnect between the customer and, the actual hosting service. And people are really, really fed up, not getting the support they need. So I have some suggestions I'm going to give later on about what to look for in a hosting company. Obviously, you should look for mine, but I have some other examples on what you should probably stay away from in the hosting industry.
Well, good. And as I'll say setting the context to this, I initially started, I think, on something called Microsoft Office way back in the way back about 10 years ago. It was a platform that Microsoft offered. It might have been through Homestead. No background in that wasn't my business, web design, but I found it wasn't intuitive, not really, but I learned it. Then from there, I moved to Wix, which again was a drag and drop. Then from there, I dabbled around with Squarespace, Squarespace. And then I made the jump to GoDaddy with WordPress, because I actually started out with a podcast and knew that I needed to be on WordPress. And then I actually bumbled into iPages, which is how Josh and I connect. And so the reason, I admire Josh is because he is what we all should be doing out there on Twitter. If you are using Twitter, is monitoring what the conversation is in your niche. Josh reached out to me when he saw I had a problem, and that's exactly who I was looking for, and that's exactly who I want to partner with. I'm in the business of entrepreneurship for adults 50 plus, but I also know there's entrepreneurs of every age, and if you're going to own your platform, you need to make sure it's stable, and you need to know that the people behind it know how important it is to you. So with that, give us an education here, please. And if you notice my head's down, it's because I'm taking notes because I know there is going to be some major value in this conversation.
Sure. So thanks, Judy. For me, a little background about myself. I live in beautiful Austin, Texas. I've been in the tech industry my entire life. About 8 to 9 years ago, I started at a small hosting company, which actually is not very small anymore, called HostGator.com. I worked my way up at HostGator, and eventually we ended up selling to a group called Endurance International Group, and then I left after that. The company was huge, it's massive, We built that company on customer support. What's lacking in the industry right now. Okay. And the reason I left the company after I had a contract 18 months after, but I left the company because they didn't have the same kind of goals, was to help customers out. I then started my own company, electronic cigarette company, just out of nowhere. I saw there was a need for certain things. Grew that company to $1.2 million revenue this first year, and ended up selling that at the end of last year. And so I was faced with a question of what I wanted to do. And I saw a big need in hosting. So I started webhosting.ninja. We are onboarding clients right now. I see that we have a good background and a good understanding of what the customers really need. Obviously, I've been doing this for 8 to 10 years in the hosting industry, so I have a little bit of insider knowledge on that. But that's what I'm doing now, and that's what my background is. I'm an entrepreneur. I've got so many serial businesses, so many different things going on. Besides, my major thing right now is webhosting.ninja. But I have a lot of other side projects I work on all the time, just because I like to see seeds grow. I like to being able to see, like, okay, I was talking to my wife last weekend about it, and I go, I just don't understand people that they don't want something besides just the norm. I go to work every day for this company. I make X amount of dollars, and I'm just keeping up with the Joneses. I like whenever I get an email saying you have a new customer. Whether it be $5, $6, whatever. It's like I know that I provided a service and I created this from the ground up, and I've done it multiple times with different businesses. This will be the only time I've done it just by myself. We had without any investors yet. I'm sure probably some will come along, but this is just grassroots right now. So that's my history. That's what I'm getting into now. One of the things I want to talk about is creating a website, and also who you use for web hosting. One of the things Judy and you probably and anybody else probably doesn't know is that iPage, Fat Cow, Homestead, Bluehost, HostGator, they're all owned by the same company. Okay? A Small Orange. Tons of them are owned by the same company that bought HostGator, the company that I work for and helped build. So that's they're all buying the same ones. And the reason they did that is because you're going to leave, like you get fed up. You're like, you know what? I don't want this place anymore. I'm going to go over to Fat Cow. I'm going to go over to Bluehost. I'm going to go over here. And they don't lose your business that way because you have no idea that they're the same company until you get over there and you're like, this is the same stuff I was dealing with before. I don't understand this. And then so you leave them and you go somewhere else, What they try to do is they try to get you into, obviously, the yearly plan and to get you to stay. And they're betting on you're not willing to take the time at the end of the year to actually move. You can get as fed up as you want to about it, but you're not going to take the time to move at the end of the year. There's too much stuff. And in reality, it's not. It's not hard to move you to a different hosting company. And one of the key things, if you're looking for a new web host, that they're going to actually take you and move you for free over to their service. We move everybody for free over to Web Hosting Ninja. HostGator at a time moved everybody over for free as well. Wow. But it came down to the brass tacks of things, and that they don't care about the customers anymore. And I'm not just talking just on HostGator. A lot of the web hosting companies don't care about the actual customer anymore. They care about the bottom line, but they have to because they're a publicly traded company now.
Right.
So
I'm asking you a question here. Last week we were talking about company culture and corporate culture, and even as an entrepreneur, we have our own culture. You're a serial entrepreneur. I want to ask you, what do you say is your mojo, your ninja hosting, your culture that I heard one, you're customer centric.
Yes.
That I get is part of who you are. What would you say defines all these enterprises you've created? What's the culture there for investors to know about and possible people to work with you or collaborate with you? Who's looking for? Because this is important to me, and building that as entrepreneurs.
So for me, there's a couple different things. Number one, I love seeing small businesses get put online. I love being able to assist small businesses and being able to, get them growing online. Because there's a lot of people, they're not specialized in web hosting like I am. They specialize in, lawn service or whatever, and it's like it's very intimidating for a lot of people about getting their website online. They have no idea, and they are spending a lot of money doing it because they don't know any better. You have somebody come to you and say, "Here's, we'll do your website for $3,000." There's no reason to spend that kind of money nowadays. There is no reason to do that. You could know nothing about websites, and you could have somebody put you together one from zero to like $100 or $200. There's a lot of people being taken advantage of online because they don't know any better. So that's one thing is I really, really like getting small businesses online and people that are steadily trying to do something and grow a seed. The other is, again, the customer. I love being able to talk to a customer, educate them, and show them, this is not intimidating. This is very, very easy. If you know how to use Facebook, you should be able to know how to use your and Blab. You should be able to log in and be able to control your email addresses. Make some little small edits on your website using WordPress. I mean, we came a long way with our customer, their CMSs. So that's what I like doing. That's what we're focusing on. That's what was going to set us apart because there used to be that in the industry, but there's not any focus on that now. And, it's really just kind of disheartening to see.
Well, thank you.
Thank you. And again,
if people want to get a hold of you, it's Web Hosting Ninja or Ninja. What's the best way to find you?
Webhosting.ninja. That's you.
Okay.
You got to have to educate people because new top level domains, it was like .com, .net. Well, now they have so many different ones. You have .business, whatever. So mine's .ninja. So webhosting.ninja.
Okay. All right. So go on with your thought. I wanted to say, I really want people to get a flavor of who you are and why it's important to get to know you.
Sure. Yeah. So we're trying to get people online. We love small businesses. We love just, people that have their small blogs. Like you have all these thoughts that you want to put out, or you want to share stuff to family. One thing that I really, really like about Facebook and also some of the other platforms that are out there now is that, it really, really is connecting people. I've got cousins and great cousins and great uncles that I would never, ever in my life probably see again. It's just, some people have that family where they just, they're all about family. And I am, but it's not, it doesn't go that deep, So I've got great uncles and cousins that I grew up with, across the country. We don't get together and go to a family reunion, but I can talk to them online all the time now.
Yeah.
So, creating a blog to share that kind of stuff with, it's very easy to do. Some of the things I want to talk about also is, how to pick a hosting company.
Okay.
So, for you, you're at iPage right now.
Mm-hmm.
I can tell you how you have prevented some of the frustrations you've had. Okay. It's very simple. They make it kind of hidden. Okay. Whenever you're going to pick a web hosting company, you go to their website, click on their live chat, or give them a call. Whatever you do, select pre-sales questions or sales questions.
Okay.
Select support. I want to talk to somebody in support. Find out how long it takes you to get somebody in support, because that's where you're going to be focusing on right there. That's where you're going to, log in and send a ticket to a company. See how long it takes them to respond, because they have frontline agents that are just there to take up your sales calls. And then once you're in that pool, you're not going to get answered. So that's very, very easy. Yeah. So that's just one way of doing that. Also look for reviews online. One of the things about web hosting companies is they're very saturated with affiliates. Okay. So what affiliate marketing is, which I'm sure you're kind of aware, is that you give somebody, a certain percentage money or a certain dollar amount for them to go out and sell your product for you. HostGator gives around $100 to $200 every time somebody refers them to another customer. Okay.
Wow.
So, and most web hosting companies do that. Okay. So if you look online, you will see a ton of great reviews, and all that is affiliate spam. They're not even customers. Okay. So you really need to take to Twitter. This is where social media comes in. And you're going to see it as well on Twitter. There's a lot of like, oh, HostGator's the great. Those are all people that want you to click their link and go there, and they get paid out. But get on Twitter. Yeah, get on Twitter, get on Facebook, start looking. One of the key things also you can look at, okay, Facebook pages. Facebook pages. Have they turned off posting to that Facebook page? Most of the big web hosting companies out there have turned off the ability for users to post on their page, and you know, they can respond to stuff that they, you know, put online, but they cannot post directly to their page. That's a red flag.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Wow. This is, can I say, this is some consumer education. And if you're just joining us right now, we've got some value bombs. The first one is make sure you call in and set up a support ticket before you look at a hosting agency. 2, check the reviews online. 3, be mindful that if they've disconnected the feed or the comment section on Facebook, that may be because there's issues behind their service, and that's how most of us reach out, through social media.
Yeah, yeah.
And quite honestly, I am shocked at how much those affiliates are earning.
Yeah,
I just thought it was a small percent, like 3% or something, or some nominal. I didn't realize it was that much. Wow.
Yeah, it's a lot. And it's a good thing for people out there that are affiliate marketing. You know, I've done affiliate marketing myself, and you know, it really saturates the market of, like, you know, as far as if you want to go find something good, everybody's going to tell you it's great because they get $100, they get $200 worth.
Right.
We're saying
it's great for $200. That's the best I've ever had. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, it's good in that sense, but you got to always think back as an affiliate market. You know, would I tell my mom to go over there and get an account? Would I tell my wife or my brother, go over there, you know, just for $100? You know, so I kind of got it in a kind of a kind of like in between that. You know,
right?
Am I promoting a bad product? And I don't promote bad products.
Right. Yeah. No, that makes sense, and then what do we know? It's your reputation that's tied to it.
Yeah, it's your brand, you know, just like what you're doing now, Judy. You know, whatever we're doing right now, whether it be, you know, aging expert or web hosting ninja, they're going to always, you know, if you start something else, they're going to say, well, Josh Loe did that, you know, Judy told me about this, you know, so you're building a brand. This is for life. This is not, you know, just a churn and burn type of deal where you're going to get a couple of dollars out of it and just go, you know, do something else, because it's going to follow you. Yeah. Especially with these days, you know, with the Facebook, with the Twitters, you know, it's going to follow you. When people are going to know.
And as Josh mentioned at the top of the interview, he's a serial entrepreneur. So what he's talking about is based on his experience in the industry. And what do we know? He's got the insider's take on hosting. And so the things that he's mentioned in this interview are valid, true, and again, can save you a lot of grief in the long run. So we talked a little bit about what you need to know about picking a hosting agent or a hosting service. So once you've made that initial step, maybe you're starting to vet them. What are some of the misconceptions people might have about what their web hosting service is actually offering them, and what do we need to ask for?
Okay, so a lot of people, they get caught up in some of the add-ons that they have, like a site builder, free SSL. HostGator has a business package that gives you a free toll-free number. Those are all pretty good things to have. Those are really good. But, you know, you have to concentrate on, like, how good is the service? And, you know, they're kind of like putting the carrot out there, like, oh, we'll give you like 10 times more free add-ons that look really good on paper. But if your website's down, you know. So what to look for, I mean, you just keep going back to, you know, good service, you know. Do some investigation, because you're going to end up, you know, paying a lot of money up front, because if you go to any web hosting company, all the major ones, they're going to default you to a 3-year plan. And before you know it, you've already checked out and you've spent 3 times as much as what you thought, or 10 times what you thought you were going to pay. And you thought you were paying $299 a month, and you end up with a 4-year, 5 or 6-year plan, you know, for $50 or $60. And so you're there for 3 or 4 years. So, you know, do some investigation. And, you know, as entrepreneurs, that's one of the things we have to do. Because there's so many people that try to take advantage of the small business owner. They know that you need certain things. You know, they know that you're looking for leads. You know, email leads, stuff like that, or, you know, people trying to sell you stuff all day long because they think you need it. there's a lot of that you do. With websites, okay, that's another thing I want to touch back on is, for the actual design itself, if you're paying over $500 for a design, then you're probably getting scammed unless you really, really need a really in-depth design. With the like WordPress, with WordPress, with the addition of WordPress that came out, that I've worked with extensively for the last 8 years, there's so many templates online that you can get and configure, and you can have a good-looking website up in no time. One of the things was another thing, if you're trying to sell stuff online, if you're trying to have an e-commerce website, you think that's expensive, but it's really not. I mean, you have places like Shopify and BigCommerce. They're both web hosting companies. All they really did was put together a whole package for you so that you can have everything you need right there and you can start selling, okay? You can do that on your own on a $5.99 web hosting company or web hosting account with WordCommerce and a couple of plugins. It might be a little more difficult to set up than you need, but you can hire somebody that knows that kind of stuff, and you could have so instead of paying the $30 a month for Shopify, you can pay $5.99 a month and then an initial $100 for somebody to configure it for you and say, hey, this is how you do it. So you're in 3 months, you've already made your money back.
Got it.
So having, just the website itself, the web page design is nothing anymore. Custom logos and stuff like that, those do take a little bit of time and money. But actually configuring your website, that's not how it is anymore. You can get those done fairly cheap. There's places like, for example, Upwork.com. It's a freelance website, okay? And what they do is you have people from around the world, you post them and you say, hey, I need a website that looks like this. You have one of your competitors, you have somebody's website that you actually really like a lot. Not necessarily copy their entire website, but say, hey, I really like this design. Can somebody make one like this with these different tweaks? Right. You can post on Upwork.com and you'll have somebody from another country come in and they'll bid it so low because they are making so much money. I mean, if they bid $100 to them is a lot of money. Right. And so you have a lot of people with the same talents as I have as far as server administration that will do stuff in web design that will do stuff for way cheaper. So it's a very, very good asset to have if you're starting out and you're bootstrapping your own startup here, and you say, I don't have the kind of money to put in on a website, but you need to have a really good website. And that's another thing is you can't cheap out on that aspect. The hosting hosting's so competitive right now. You can get a great host for a low price. But you need a great design. You can't have a basic, website because when people go there, it's 2016. People are going to think that this is a basic company that's not, they're not really doing anything for themselves. It's just like they just threw it together and put no time in it. And that's pretty much probably what actually did happen. But you have to present yourself to it. It's just like a business card. Yeah, it's a business card. And so when you go to it, people need to, first of all, if you have a website that's not responsive or not mobile friendly, you've already failed. I mean, and there's a lot of so GoDaddy. GoDaddy has a website builder, okay? But it doesn't do responsive and it doesn't do mobile friendly. So if you try to go to the website you just built, and I see people tweeting all the time, I just created a great website with GoDaddy. You go to it on your iPhone, you have to scroll all the way past it. And so, so for example, I said Web Hosting Ninja, we have a site builder. It's the only site builder that's responsive. So you build a site there, it's responsive. That means that it will work on the iPad, it'll work on your browser, any computer, any browser, your iPad, your Android phones, all the same. It'll work on everyone. It'll just shrink stuff down. It's very mobile friendly. Another thing you have to be very cautious of, if your website's not mobile friendly, you're going to get knocked in Google rankings. And what that means is you can try all day long as far as you want to move up for certain keywords in Google, which is something we could probably talk about later on in another segment about the importance of SEO for your domains and your websites. But just to keep it short, you can build your way up, and people search on Google all day long. And if you're on the top, of Google for your keywords, I mean, you have massive amounts of traffic, but you're not going to get that traffic at all if you're not ranked, and you're going to take a hit if you're not mobile friendly.
And it's so interesting that you mentioned that. Could you just clarify responsive again and let those who are catching this on the replay, because people hear that and not everyone understands what that actually means. So when we responsive at its most basic.
So a responsive website is a website that you can view on any device. Okay. You can tell that the website is responsive if you go to any website right now and you type it in, and you take your browser and you pull it in like that, and you just shrink the window to that size. If it doesn't follow, it's not responsive.
And there are a lot of people out there who have websites who are not responsive, and that's why people say, "Oh yeah, I can see it on my phone." No, you can't see it on your phone in the way you want it presented. And there's
there's a big difference there, because you can see it on the phone, that's for sure, but it's not responsive. So it's not going to be the same as if you had a responsive website where it's made just for that, and it's made for any device. It basically, what a responsive website does is it can detect how big the screen is, and then shrink it down. If it's too small, it puts a little menu there,
Right. Yeah, no, that's clear. And I just realized we're coming up onto the half hour, so we've got a few minutes. But I'm going to have Josh back on another segment, because he has so much to share. And again, Josh's background, this is his sandbox. He knows this stuff. So the tips that he's given us already are an insider's look at hosting and web design and SEO. So as we finish up, some value, some must-haves, like how Josh's rules for saving pain, decreasing your pain level.
So one I want to touch on that I kind of didn't think about before is you're going to spend a lot of money, waste a lot of money, if you go out and just try to do things on your own. One of the things that I've always said in my life is, I'm never the master of everything. There's always a resource that I need to reach out and talk to. I'm looking at some different companies, that I'm looking to acquire. I'm not going to make that decision myself. I've got people that are in the same industry that can look at it, that have done this way longer than I have as far as the analytics of it. And so I would ask them, hey, so use your resources. Right now, this is a great resource. What Judy's providing you right now is a great resource. You're wasting a lot of money and a lot of time if you're trying to start your business and you're not utilizing your resources. This is a huge resource. Use your resources.
Yeah. And what do they say? Your net worth is your network. And that truly is, because the next time which is going to be soon, that I am going to buy another URL, it's going to be through, you do sell URLs. Do I buy one from you? Okay.
Sure.
I will be using Josh one, because he gets where entrepreneurs are. As you can see, I don't know, how are you tracking Hootsuite, or what's your analytic when you're monitoring phrases and keywords? What tool do you use?
So right now I'm keeping it very basic, and I've just got a couple different windows and Twitter up, and I just, I'm just out here, just, that's how I do it.
And that's how we connected. Again, I had a pain point with my hosting provider, wasn't happy about it, wasn't getting any service. Josh reached out to me, and I thought, those are the people who I want in my community, my network, because my business is important to me, and so is yours. So the conversation has been with Josh Loe at webhosting.ninja. Nice. And any words to close us out, Josh?
Yeah, Judy, thanks for having me on. And I wanted to let everybody know that we've created a special coupon for you guys over at webhosting.ninja. The coupon code's Encore. It gives you 55% off for a recurring monthly fee for an entire year.
Wow.
We encourage you to come over, get signed up with us. If you're currently at a hosting company, we'll move you over for free, no charge. We just want to get you online and show you a better alternative and be a resource.
Wow. You rock, Josh. This has been fantastic. I'm looking forward to having Josh back on the show. Thank you again for joining us with Encore Chat, and give us some love on YouTube, and I'll have Josh's links in the note. Again, thanks for joining us today.